My husband cheated on me for more than 10 years. I had always thought my life was perfect. A successful career, 2 wonderful children off to college, and a loving husband, Richard, who had been my rock for over 2 decades. Our picturesque house in the suburbs was the culmination of years of hard work and shared dreams. One evening, while sorting through some old boxes in the attic, I found an unfamiliar phone tucked away in a dusty corner. My curiosity got the best of me, and I powered it on. It was an old model, something Richard must have used years ago. As I navigated through the phone, what I found made my heart stop. Pictures of Richard with another woman, smiling as if they shared a deep bond. But what shocked me most were the photos of Richard with children, 2 boys and a girl, none of whom I recognized. They looked about 10 years old. My hands trembled as I scrolled through messages revealing a parallel life Richard had been leading for years. The messages were tender, filled with words of love and commitment. He had birthdays marked, school events, even family vacations. It was clear he wasn't just having an affair, he had an entirely separate family. The reality of it hit me like a sledgehammer. The wall seemed to close in on me, the air thick with betrayal. My heart pounded in my chest as tears blurred my vision. I felt as if I had been punched in the gut, the wind knocked out of me. My mind raced with questions and disbelief. How could Richard do this to me? To us? For over 20 years, I had believed in our love, our family, our future. Now, it all seemed like a cruel joke. When Richard came home, I confronted him that night, laying out the phone and its damning evidence on the kitchen table. Richard's face went pale, his eyes widening in shock and fear. "How long, Richard? How long have you been lying to me?" My voice was steady but laced with pain. Richard stammered, trying to find the right words. "Martha, I can explain." "Explain? Explain what? That you have another family? Children? How could you do this to us, to me?" My voice broke, tears streaming down my face. Richard's shoulders sagged, and he sank into a chair. "It started years ago. I never meant for it to go this far. I love you, Martha, but I also love them. I couldn't bring myself to leave either of you." The betrayal cut deep. For 20 years, I had shared my life with this man, believing in our love and trust. Now, it all seemed like a cruel joke. I thought of our children, how this revelation would shatter their world. Claire and Michael adored their father. Richard had always been there for them, from coaching Michael's Little League games to helping Claire with her science projects. They shared a bond that was real and profound. Over the next few weeks, I grappled with my emotions. I couldn't look at Richard without feeling a mix of anger and sorrow. Richard refused to leave, insisting we could work through this. He played on the fact that I hadn't worked in years, reminding me of my financial dependence on him. It was a cruel tactic, and it only deepened my resolve to find a way out. I didn't want to tell Claire and Michael the truth. They had such a strong bond with their father, and I couldn't bear to be the one to break their hearts. But the strain was too evident to hide. One night, after a particularly heated argument with Richard, I broke down and told them everything. Claire's face turned white, and Michael's hands clenched into fists. "Mom, you don't have to stay with him," Claire said, her voice trembling with anger and determination. "We will support you, whatever it takes." Richard tried to intervene. "Kids, you don't understand. Your mother and I can work this out. We've been through so much together." Michael stepped forward, his voice cold. "You've been lying to us and to Mom for years. This isn't something you just work out. You betrayed us all." The conflict escalated over the following days. Claire and Michael were in disbelief, their emotional distress palpable. They had looked up to their father, seen him as their hero. Now, they saw him as a manipulative liar trying to control their mother. Their disappointment was immense, and their support for me unwavering. Richard clung to the hope of keeping our family intact, but our children were relentless in their support for me. They helped me find a lawyer, and we began the painful process of divorce. Richard's attempts to manipulate the situation only made things worse. He tried to control the finances, but Claire and Michael intervened, using their savings and connections to ensure I had the support I needed. As the months passed, the battle took its toll on all of us. But I found strength in the unwavering support of my children. We attended therapy together, working through our pain and finding ways to heal. I reconnected with old friends, explored new hobbies, and began to envision a future where I was no longer under Richard's shadow. The divorce was finalized, and Richard moved out for good. The house, once a symbol of our shared dreams, now felt like a prison I had finally escaped from. I started working again, finding joy in the independence I had once taken for granted. Claire and Michael remained by my side, their love and support a constant reminder that I wasn't alone. We forged a new path together, one where honesty and trust were the foundation. Richard, on the other hand, found himself increasingly isolated. His other family, once a source of comfort, grew distant as the truth of his deceit came to light. The woman he had loved left him, unable to forgive his betrayal. His children, from both families, struggled to reconcile the man they had known with the reality of his actions. In the end, Richard was left alone, the consequences of his double life unraveling around him. His attempts to rebuild were met with suspicion and distrust, and he realized too late the true cost of his choices. As for me and my children, we continued our journey of healing. Therapy helped us process the trauma, and new hobbies brought us closer together. We traveled, laughed, and built new memories, free from the shadows of the past. And as I rebuilt my life, I vowed never to lose sight of myself again.